Hello everyone, and in this video I'm going to take you through some exam questions, just a few exam questions on inverse and composite functions. So without further ado, let's get stuck into the first one. We've got functions f, g and h. Let's read it very carefully. We've got f of x equal to 7 minus x. We've got g of x equal to 4x plus 2. And we've got h of x equal to 15 minus x squared. Now, your first job is a composite function, okay? So you have to find the value of f of 2. Now, can you see what I've done there is that I've actually put some extra brackets in. It just means that f of 2 is going to go into f, okay? So our first job is to actually work out what is the value of f of 2. If 2 goes into the function f, it means that we do 7 subtract that value, in this case 2, which gives us this value of 5, all right? So now we know that f of 2 is actually 5. What we're really finding then is f of 5. Oops. Let's go. So f of 5, and again, we do an f function. What does f function mean? It means 7 subtract whatever that x value is. In this case now the x value is 5. So 7 subtract 5 gives us our final answer of 2. Okay. All right, so first one done. G of f of x in its simplest form. So again, I'm going to write it with extra brackets just because I think it kind of gives the idea of the function going into the function. In this case, it's the f of x, which is 7 minus x, going into g. Now the function g is that we times it by 4 and add 2. So whatever's in brackets, we've replaced the x with 7 minus x, is now getting multiplied by 4 and add 2, okay? In its simplest form, so we just need to expand the brackets. So we get 28 minus 4x plus 2, and then what have we got? We got 30, 28 plus 2 minus 4x. And of course you can write that as minus 4x plus 30 if you want, okay? So either of those things is fine. All right, next one. Next one says, find h of 2 of x. So let's look at the function h. It means that 2 of x is going to go into this function, which is, first of all, 15, subtract. Now, crucially, this whole thing is going to get squared. Okay, so the thing that is now the x, which is 2x, is getting squared. Now, don't fall into the trap of thinking that's just 2x squared, because it's not. Everything in that bracket is going to get squared. And if you like to think about it like this, 2x all squared is really 2x times by 2x, which is, I hope you agree, 4x squared. Yep, okay. Right, so where was I? So it's equal to 15 minus 4x squared. There we go. Okay, next questions. Okay, question 2. So now we've got two functions, f and g, and we're going to put 3x into g. Now this is very similar to what we just did actually. So we know that the function g just squares the thing. So if this thing is now 3x, we are going to square 3x. And what do we get? 3x multiplied by 3x is 9x squared. Okay, so just 1 mark for that one. Now moving on, we haven't had one of these yet. So with the inverse function. So it's the inverse function of f. So I'm going to write f as y equals first. Second step that we always do is we swap x and y. And then the next step is we have to make y the subject. So we're basically reversing the function. So x subtract 5 equals 3y. And then make y the subject. So y equals, I guess it's x minus 5 over 3, isn't it? So the inverse function is exactly that, x minus 5. Just write it a bit clearer, over 3. And that's worth 2 marks. Okay, moving on. Question, what am I on? Question 3 now. Okay, oh no, question 2 still, but part C. Find f of x. Right, so it's still the same two functions. Again, I'm going to write it with the extra brackets just to show what's happening. So f of x is going into f of x. F of x is 3x plus 5. So that's the thing that's being multiplied by 3 because that's what the function f does. And then add 5, and then simplify it. So for 2 marks, let's simplify it very carefully. We get 9x plus 15 plus 5. So the final answer, if we simplify, is 9x plus 20. Okay. Next question. Okay, so this looks like there's a bit more going on here. We've got a fraction going into a composite function here for a start, and then a negative number. So let's have a look at the functions we've got. So we've got the function f, which is 8 minus 3x, the function g, which is 10 over x plus 1. Now it tells us that x cannot be equal to minus 1, and hopefully you can see why that is. If x becomes minus 1 here, then we get a fraction over 0, which is mathematically impossible. We can't have that, okay? We can't divide by 0. It just doesn't happen. H of x equals 2 to the power x. So we've got 3 different functions, actually. Now, first thing is saying it wants us to put in f of 8 over 3 into h. So let's just take some time here to because that's looking a bit more complicated than usual. 8 over 3 going into the function f. Right, so it's 8 subtract 3 times whatever the x is. In this case, the x has become 8 over 3. Now, if I times and divide by 3, they sort of cancel each other out, don't they? So this becomes 24 over 3, if you like. You could also do it that way. Let's do it in full if you like. So 8 over 3 is 8 subtract 24 over 3. Okay, which is basically just 8. So it becomes 8 minus 8, which is 0. Okay, so this actual value is really 0. So it's a 0 going into h. Now what's happening now is that the function h is telling us that whatever the x is, we just raise 2 to the power of that x. So it's, in this case, it's 2 to the power of 0. What do we know? Anything to the power 0 is just equal to, hopefully you know this, 1. Okay, so the final answer is just 1. All right. Part B. And now we've got h of minus 2. So g of h of minus 2. Right, so h of minus 2 going into g. And okay, part B. And we are now part B, and we are now going to look at g of h of minus 2. So this is focusing on h of minus 2 going then into g. So let's find the value first of all of h of minus 2. H of minus 2 is going to be 2 to the power of negative 2, which if you know your laws of indices, you know is 1 over 2 squared, or in this case 1 over quarter. All right, so now we get g of a quarter. So that means that a quarter is the value of h of minus 2, and therefore that's now going to go into the function g. G is the function 10 over x plus 1. So it's going to be, in this case, 10 over, if our x has now changed to a quarter plus 1, which is 10 over, now it's going to be 1 quarter plus 4 quarters, which is 5 quarters. Now, I don't know how you usually prefer to do this, okay, but what we could do is you could call it 10 divided by 1 divided by 5 over 4. And we know that when we divide fractions, we can just change it to multiply by flipping the second one. So 4 over 5. Okay, so I'm kind of showing a lot of working here, but I think it's worth it. 10 times 4, now we can just multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. 10 multiplied by 4 is 40. 1 times 5 is 5. And so 40 divided by 5 gives us a final answer of 8. So the final answer there is 8 for 2 marks. Final 2 parts of this question, and the next one is asking us to find the inverse function of this quotient function here, g. All right, so what we've got is that, first of all, we'll always write it as y equals. Well, we're focusing on the function g, so it's 10 over x minus 1. And what we now do is we swap our x and y terms. So x equals 10 over y minus 1. Now we want to make y the subject, so it's no good if it's in the denominator at the moment, so let's multiply this, okay, coming back up here because I've run out of room. So expanding the brackets, we get xy minus x equals 10. We need to make y the subject, so let's move this x over here. Xy equals 10 plus x, and then one last step is just to divide by x. Okay, now you could leave your answer like that, and some people might even like to write it as, so you could have it as 10 plus x over x, or you can also separate it out into two different parts for this fraction. So 10 over x plus 10 over x plus x over x. And x over x is just 1, okay, because we're dividing anything by itself is just 1. So an alternative answer could be 10 over x plus 1. 3 marks. But, you know, I will say that's also just as okay as that. Okay. All right, last one. Now this is quite an important result, and you'll notice that it's only actually worth 1 mark, even though it looks quite intimidating to some, perhaps. Okay, so you're finding the inverse function of f of 5. Now, the result that you really want to memorise, and I will show why it works as well, is that when you do the inverse function of a function, x, okay, and they're both inverses of each other, and you do a composite function of those two, then you are just almost going to kind of cancel the f's out, right? The f and the f to the minus 1 almost cancel out, I like to think. So okay, moving on to part D, and you'll notice that this one looks scary, but actually is only worth 1 mark. So there must be something here, some kind of hack that you can use, and there certainly is. And that is that f to the minus 1 of f of x is equal to x. That's a really important result because if you can remember it, you can automatically get the answer here of 5 for 1 mark, okay? But we can also kind of verify it for ourselves. Basically, if you do a composite function of an inverse function with its original function, then they almost cancel each other out. It's like the f and the f to the minus 1 cancel each other. We can prove it for ourselves now if you like. So f of 5, let's put it into a different colour. Oh, are we in a different colour? Yes. F of 5 is equal to 8 minus 3 times 5, or 8 minus 15, which is minus 7. Okay. Now, I could then put that into f to the minus 1, but I'd have to find f to the minus 1 first. F to the minus 1 of x, right? So that would be that y equals 8 minus 3x. X equals 8 minus 3y. So 3y is equal to 8 minus x. And y is equal to 8 minus x over 3, right? So if I now know that this is the inverse function, oh, I'm running out of room here. I might just move on to the next page just to be able to finish this properly. It's quite big. Let's try again. Okay, so I'm now at the point that I know that f to the minus 1 of x is 8 minus x over 3. I also know that f of 5 is equal to minus 7. So if I find f to the minus 1 of f of x, sorry, 5, okay, then I'm putting f of 5 into this. So it's f to the minus 1 of minus 7, because that is your function with 5 in it, and that is going to be 8 minus negative 7 over 3, which is 15 over 3, which is 5. Okay, so we have shown that it works, but I am sure you'll agree that it's much nicer and easier for 1 mark to just know that this is always equal to this. Okay, so put a star around that in your notes. Don't forget it, it might just pay off for that extra mark. Okay, so I hope all that was really useful for your exam preparation for inverse functions and composite functions. And if you've enjoyed it, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe and leave any comments about things that you'd like me to cover in the future. Okay, so go ace that maths and all the very best.